Today's topic is about protein metabolism. In that, we will look about the digestion and absorption of the protein. So before that, we will look about some detail of the protein and amino acid. The main role of amino acid is the synthesis of structural and functional protein. Unlike fats and carbohydrates, there is a no storage form of protein in the body. So basically non-essential amino acids are either derived from the diet, whatever we are taking, or synthesized in the body. But particularly for essential amino acid, we are solely dependent on our diet. So particularly this essential amino acid we have to provide in the diet. So even if one particular essential amino acid is not present, the protein synthesis can be affected inside our body, or that protein synthesis will not take place. So in an adult, the rate of synthesis of protein balance the rate of degradation. So nitrogen balance is maintained inside our body. It is most important. Depending on the different condition, there is a nitrogen balance is affected, that already we have discussed in a part of nutrition. Further in detail, particularly there is a protein amino acid pool that is maintained in our body, that we can understand from this figure. Particularly dietary protein we are taking roughly as a 1 gram per kilogram body weight for an adult person. So generally person is taking 50 to 75 gram of protein per day in a diet. Now that all go in a particular body amino acid pool that is generally made up of the 100 gram. This body amino acid pool that is mostly diverted for the different situation, and from this amino acid mostly nitrogen is excreted in the form of ammonia. This ammonia is dangerous in our body, so it is first catabolized in the form of urea, and that will be excreted in the urine. Further, this particular amino acid pool is also utilized for the synthesis of non-essential amino acid. The most important function of amino acid to produce specialized product like heme, purine, pyrimidine, creatine, particularly enzymes and hormone, they are also produced with the help of this amino acid pool. Apart from that, this amino acid pool is also sometimes used for the energy production, and sometimes this amino acid as per the need that can be diverted for the new glucose molecule formation. So that is basic about the dietary protein and basic use of this amino acid in our body. Apart from that, breakdown of body protein that is generally taking place in a rate of 300 to 400 gram per day, and same amount that will be utilized for the synthesis of new body protein, that is also same rate 300 to 400 gram per day. So there is a constant turnover of the protein, particularly amino acid in our body, but we have to provide particularly essential amino acid in our diet. Now how exactly this digestion and absorption of protein is occurring, that we will look. So first about the digestion. The dietary protein are denatured on cooking and therefore easily digested. We have seen that denaturation of the protein, mostly when there is a denaturation, loss of the particularly quaternary tertiary structure and only primary structure will be there. So that denatured protein is easily digested inside our body. So all these enzymes which are needed for this protein digestion are hydrolysis in nature. By simply adding of water molecule, they are breaking this protein in a smaller fragment. So proteolytic enzymes are secreted as the inactive zymogen, which are further converted to their active form in the intestinal lumen. So up to that intestinal cell, they are in the zymogen form. Further, they are present in intestinal lumen. Initially they are in the zymogen form, then as per the particular regulatory molecule, that zymogen is converted into the active form. This would prevent autodigestion of the secretory acini. Otherwise what happens, this active enzyme that can also hydrolyze some cellular protein or some cellular portion, and that can lead to the unnecessary inflammation. So that can be avoided by secreting this particular enzyme in the zymogen form. So that is importance about the zymogen that you have to remember. The proteolytic enzymes including in a two category. One that is endopeptidase. So that particular act on the peptide bonds inside the protein. That word you have to remember, inside the protein. So that the protein becomes successively smaller and smaller unit. For example, suppose that there is 100 amino acid containing one protein is present, and out of that 100 amino acid, a particular enzyme that is break this protein from the in the middle. So what happened, two protein segment of two polypeptide chain of particular 50 amino acid will be made up. So same thing will happen, pepsin, trypsin, chymotrypsin and elastase, they will break this particular protein from inside the protein chain. Now, one more type of enzyme, that is exopeptidase. They act on the peptide bond only at the end region of the chain. So there are two particular end of the protein, N terminal and C terminal. So depending on that, exopeptidase is also categorized in a two variety: carboxypeptidase, which are work basically over the carboxy terminal end of the protein, while aminopeptidase that particularly work over the amino terminal end of the peptide chain. Further, initially that digestion in the mouth, but there is a no proteolytic enzyme in the mouth, so no digestion occur in the mouth. So after mastication, food reaches stomach where it meets the gastric juice, and from there protein digestion will be started. So you have to remember there is a no digestion in the mouth for the protein, but in the stomach what happens, HCl is secreted, hydrochloric acid, which denatures the protein. So apart from the cooking inside our body, when this HCl is secreted, that will also denature the protein. It also make the pH optimum for the action of pepsin and activate the pepsin. This both the function, for that it is depending on the HCl which is secreted in the stomach. So that is importance of HCl in the stomach also. So enzyme present in the gastric juice include renin, that here you would remember RENIN, renin, further pepsin, gastrecin and gelatinase. These four are the particular enzyme present in the stomach for the protein digestion. Now for each one we will look first, that is pepsin. It is a potent proteolytic enzyme secreted by the chief cell of stomach as inactive zymogen form, and that is called a pepsinogen. Now that pepsinogen is converted to active pepsin, that is brought about by removal of 44 amino acid from the N terminal end with the help of HCl. So this HCl will convert pepsinogen into the active pepsin. So optimum pH means highest activity of pepsin is seen at pH of about 1.6 to 2.5, and pepsin gets denatured if pH is greater than 5. So for the activity of this pepsin enzyme, particular stomach will provide pH around 1.6 to 2.5. So basically pepsinogen, that is zymogen form, in the presence of HCl, that will be converted into the active pepsin, which is containing 318 amino acid. Now one more, that action of the pepsin, it is basically endopeptidase. So it hydrolyzes protein into a smaller fragment, that is like peptons and proteoses. So protein, particularly pepsin, that is protein in the presence of pepsin is converted into the proteoses and peptons. So suppose that protein is of 100 or 200 amino acid, in the presence of pepsin it will be converted into a smaller fragment of 25 to 50 amino acid. So it catalyzes the hydrolysis of the bonds formed by the carboxyl group of phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan and methionine. So whatever the amino acid which are present, particularly these four amino acid which are present in the protein, over that particular carboxyl group of this amino acid, they all will be hydrolyzed with the help of this pepsin enzyme. So that is importance of the pepsin in body. So pepsin cannot act on the protein like keratins, mucoids and mucoproteins, particularly keratin that is present in the hair. So sometimes some child are take off or engulf that hair, and that may not be digested by the pepsin, and that is sometime a reason for the abdominal pain is also seen. So that is about the pepsin. Now one more enzyme, that is renin, and that is also called a chymosin. So renin is seen in infant, not present in the adult. Optimum pH for its activity is just 4. Specificity of action is very similar to the pepsin, but it particularly act over the casein of milk and convert it into a from the para to form paracasein. This denatured protein is easily digested further by the pepsin enzyme. Now here, but important thing is that this particular enzyme is seen only in the infant, and you have to remember in the difference between renin and renin. Renin, that is a RENIN, is proteolytic enzyme secreted by the kidney, which is involved in the activation of angiotensinogen to the angiotensin, and it is a one type of hypertensive agent, and it is involved in a regulation of the blood pressure. So it is quite different from the renin, which is a one type of enzyme secreted in the stomach. So further, important enzyme of the stomach, that is gastrecin. Optimum pH for this enzyme is also 3 to 4, secreted as a zymogen form, which is activated in presence of HCl. It acts as a proteinase. Further, one more enzyme, that is gelatinase. It hydrolyzes the gelatin. It acts in a acidic medium. Simple, you have to remember that what are the enzymes of this particular stomach, they are mostly active in the acidic medium. Further, Digestion in the duodenum. The duodenum pH for the activity of pancreatic enzyme is around 8, means that is basic in nature. So which is provided by the alkaline bile and pancreatic juice. So one of the function of bile to provide alkaline pH in the duodenum. So this secretion of pancreatic juice is stimulated by the peptide hormone like cholecystokinin and pancreozymin. So pancreatic juice contains trypsin, chymotrypsin, elastase and carboxypeptidase. All these are also secreted in the zymogen form. So once they are present in the zymogen form, then it will be converted into the active form. So zymogen form for the trypsin, that is called trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen or proelastase. From that we can get trypsin, chymotrypsin and elastase. So that the pancreatic acinar cell is also not autolyzed, that is simple function to prevent unnecessary inflammation due to activity of this enzyme. So all the three enzymes, particular trypsin, chymotrypsin and elastase, are serine proteases, which means that the active center of this enzyme contains serine, particular amino acid, and over that particular substrate is attached. So it is called as serine proteases. So further about this trypsin, which is secreted in the inactive form, zymogen form, that is trypsinogen. Activation is brought about by enterokinase present on the intestinal microvillus membrane. Now this trypsin is activated with the help of this intestinal microvillus membrane. So trypsin, that is autocatalytic at pH 7.9. So calcium is required for the activation of the trypsin. It is serine proteases which act in an alkaline medium. Basically it is present in the duodenum, or activity is in the duodenum. So simply you can remember alkaline pH is needed. So how exactly this pancreatic juice is working, that is explained. Complete digestion of food requires action of both pancreatic and brush border enzyme. Most pancreatic enzymes are secreted as a zymogen, particularly trypsin, when activated by enterokinase, triggers the activation of the other pancreatic enzyme. So here, same as a pepsin is activated, and that is most important activity in the stomach. Same way the activation of trypsin, that is important action in the duodenum. So activation of pancreatic juice enzyme. So here a lumen of in duodenum, and these are the epithelial cell of the duodenum. Over the epithelial cell, over this microvilli, this en, that is enterokinase particular present, and that is helping to activate this trypsin. Trypsin is initially secreted in the form of trypsinogen. So pancreatic juice, which is containing trypsinogen, first it is converted into the active trypsin with the help of enterokinase, and this trypsin further activate other inactive enzyme or zymogen into the active enzymes form. So that will further helping for the digestion of the protein. So action of trypsin, it converts chymotrypsinogen to the chymotrypsin, it converts proelastase to elastase, procarboxypeptidase to active carboxypeptidase. So trypsin catalyzes hydrolysis of the bonds formed by the carboxyl group of the arginine and lysine, which is quite different from the pepsin. So trypsin particularly act over the arginine and lysine carboxyl group. So whatever the amino acid present in the protein, if it is containing arginine lysine, then it will be cutted by with the help of trypsin. So premature activation of this trypsinogen inside the pancreas itself will result in a autodigestion of pancreatic cell, and that can lead to the acute pancreatitis. So here a brief of this pancreatic enzyme is given. So enzyme trypsin, chymotrypsin and elastase. Basically protein is main targeted substrate for this activity of enzyme, breaks peptide bond in protein to form peptide fragments, while carboxypeptidase, which is present in this pancreatic enzyme, that is also act over the protein but split off terminal amino acid from carboxyl end of the protein. Now further digestion in the small intestine means further in duodenum to jejunum and ileum, complete digestion of the small peptides to the level of amino acid is brought about by the enzyme present in intestinal juice. The luminal surface of intestinal epithelial cells, that is containing aminopeptidase, previously carboxypeptidase in a pancreatic juice. Here next aminopeptidase, dipeptidase, tripeptidase, they will bring about the complete digestion of the protein up to the level of amino acid. So simply that further digestion up to amino acid is occur in the small intestine. Now next, that is absorption of amino acid. So amino acid are absorbed from ileum and distal jejunum. So the main part of activity of enzyme that is in the duodenum and small intestine next to the duodenum, but the absorption that is starting from the distal jejunum and ileum. So oligopeptides like di and tripeptides are absorbed from duodenum and proximal jejunum also. So it is an energy requiring process, that is absorption of amino acid. Basically 5 different carrier are present for the amino acid, and they are distributed like neutral amino acid, absorption mechanism, basic amino acid, acidic amino acid, amino acid, particularly proline and glycine, as well as beta amino acid. So these 5 different carrier mechanism is working for the absorption of the amino acid. Now particularly we will look about the neutral amino acid, and here particular gamma glutamyl cycle, and which is also called a Mister cycle, that is predominantly working in the intestine, that you have to understand. So this Mister cycle is not only occurring in the intestine, it is also seen in the brain and kidney for the absorption of that amino acid. So here how it is occurring, that we will look. So particularly glutathione participate in the active group translocation of L amino acid. It is basically this glutathione, that is basically a tripeptide. So at brush border, GSA means glutathione combines with the amino acid in presence of gamma glutamyl transferase. This forms cysteine glycine and glutamyl amino acid complex. At the end of reaction, glutathione is regenerated, which is initially utilized in the reaction, and one amino acid is absorbed across the cell membrane. The transport of one molecule of amino acid and regeneration of glutathione requires 3 molecule of ATP. So simple, for the absorption of one amino acid, a large amount of ATP is utilized. So exactly how it is occurring, that we will look. Here a structure of glutathione is seen, that is called gamma glutamyl cysteine glycine. So basically it is made up of glutamic acid, cysteine and glycine, 3 amino acids. So it is called a tripeptide. Now first, this amino acid which is present in the membrane of the intestine, now it will go inside the membrane. So first it will attach with the glutathione, which is a gamma glutamyl cysteine glycine. So over that it will attach and make glutamyl. So means glutamyl group of glutathione is separated and attached over the amino acid, and out of this glutathione particular cysteine glycine is separated, and for this activity enzyme, that is gamma glutamyl transferase, is needed. Now that further glutamyl amino acid is converted into the oxoproline. Now this oxoproline formation is also needed enzyme, that is gamma glutamyl cyclotransferase. Further what happens, this oxoproline is converted into the glutamate, and for that 5 oxoprolinase enzyme is needed. Now once that oxoproline is converted into the glutamate, and here that amino acid and oxoproline, because from this glutamyl oxoproline is generated and amino acid is separated from this combination of glutamyl amino acid. Further this glutamate will combine with the cysteine molecule and make a glutamyl cysteine, and for that enzyme needed, that is gamma glutamyl cysteine synthetase. Further this glutamyl cysteine will combine with the glycine and ultimately again form a glutathione molecule, so glutathione synthetase. So in this particular reaction, these 3, 4 and 5th reaction needed ATP. So basically 3 ATP will be utilized for the formation or regeneration of glutathione, and which is needed for the absorption of one amino acid. So here basically small intestine, here that center part lumen, and peripherally but your microvilli and cell, intestinal cell is present. So basically lumen of small intestine. So in that this monomer unit of carbohydrate, protein and lipid that is present. So monomer unit of carbohydrate, that is glucose, galactose and fructose. So first glucose and galactose, that is absorbed in the form of active transport, fructose that is absorbed in the form of facilitated diffusion, but this amino acid, dipeptide and tripeptide, that will be absorbed in the form of active transport. Further short chain fatty acid, that is simple diffusion, and long chain as well as this monoglyceride, that will also absorb in the form of same simple diffusion. But particularly this micellar formation, that will go in the form of chylomicron. So once that is go inside the epithelial cells of the villus, then further facilitated diffusion for this carbohydrate, amino acid, that is simple diffusion, and further diffusion with for the triglyceride, but this triglyceride, that is in the form of chylomicron. So that is exactly how from lumen of small intestine to the epithelial cell of villus and further go into the capillary, blood capillary. But you have to remember that only short chain carbohydrate and protein will go in a blood capillary, while this particular long chain fatty acid, that will be absorbed and transported in the form of lacteals, and that is in the form of chylomicron. So that is exactly how this digestion and absorption of protein is occurring, that is explained in this video. So you have to remember important enzyme for the protein metabolism in stomach and in duodenum, particularly pepsin and trypsin.